Good evening, everybody, and welcome to day number 89. Unbelievable. Well, believable. But day 89 is here, and what Jane and I did last night was very spot on for what's coming up in tonight's program, and also what is coming down the pike in regard to what President Zelensky said just a few minutes ago. And I do have it for us. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to talk about some undiscovered things in Ukraine. And if you saw the advertisement for tonight, we're actually talking about the Treasure of Azov. And it's pretty interesting. In fact, I saw Don Gentilini's statement earlier. He said, PG praying for you in all the Ukraine. The world will stop Putin's genocide. Seeing how sad it is later doesn't save lives. Ukraine feeds much of the world, so the Black Sea blockade must go. And that is correct. The Black Sea blockade must go. But folks, you're going to learn something tonight. It's not really the Black Sea that's our problem. What? The Black Sea is not the problem. That's the problem. Yes, Odessa and the Black Sea is the problem. But the Black Sea is not the problem. And tonight I'm going to prove it to you, talking about the Treasure of Azov. Jania, the van's paid for. It is a done deal. Paperwork was all done and finished up. They're sleeping tonight and tomorrow morning on the way to Lublin, and then into Ukraine tomorrow evening. So we'll get an update from him. I just got off with him a few minutes ago. They're resting. Everything is done. They've got a hard day and a lot of traveling ahead of them tomorrow. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you for also sharing and liking. Got a lot of activity today on Twitter with the sharing of the Azovstal tribute video. If you're here tonight and you have not shared that video, go to my YouTube channel, and it's the top little video there. Drop a share on that onto all of your social media, and it would be much appreciated. Also, those of you that watch on other platforms, as you are able, try to get to YouTube. It's a much, much better experience. And I have a lot more options. I'm working on some stuff to make this more interactive, and I can do it through YouTube, but not through the Facebook platforms or the other platforms. So in the process, just see if you can get to YouTube. Much appreciated. So folks, I don't know about you, but I had to run out today, and we're going to start here. I had to put some gas in the vehicle, and I'm not sure about where you guys live, but here in Pennsylvania, it's pretty pricey, and I'm not complaining at all. Everything is relative from your perspective, but that is a fact here. Take the rest of the world out of it and take our normal lives here in America. It's expensive. But I've got news for you guys. I have found out that the fuel is so expensive that unbelievably Queen Elizabeth, no more royal vehicles. You said, what's this got to do with Russia and Ukraine? Absolutely nothing other than giving you guys a smile tonight. Found out today that even the Queen struggling with the money. She had to take the subway.
So ticket vending machine. So this is where you purchase the ticket. So I'll just put this ticket here. You can just put in the reader right here.
One left.
Just step back a second. This way. That's against that. Yep.
Let me tell you something. It's getting tight when the Queen of England has to take public transportation. Now, I want to start right off the bat tonight with what Zhenya and I were talking about. Zhenya sent this to me just a few minutes ago, straight out of German media. And today, a private defense contractor there in Germany who actually makes tanks and makes armaments has been so desirous to send equipment to Germany, somehow trying even to bypass the government, which they can't. They got slapped today. Everything is ready to be sent to Ukraine. Tanks, heavier weapons, armaments, ammunition. And unless you read German, which I do not, but I had it translated, the German government blocked the tanks, ammunition, armaments today, once again being sent to Ukraine. This is exactly what Zhenya and I were talking about last night. So it's nice to be on tap. Folks, I want to talk to you tonight also about Desna, Ukraine. You've probably not heard of Desna. We're just discovering this today. If you look on the map there, the blue circle in the bottom is Kyiv. The orange circle in the top left is Chernobyl, where the nuclear power plant is. Pink circle, top right, top middle is Chernihiv. And the gold star in the middle is a little town, about 8,000 residents. Desna, Ukraine. Over the last 3, 4, 5 days, I've been sharing that for some reason, the Chernihiv region and the Sumy region, they have increased the attacks substantially. Well, we have bad news tonight, and actually President Zelensky will speak about this. I have a little bit of his evening address. Tonight's very important. I do not share each evenings, but tonight definitely want to share it. Desna, Ukraine, today, they were just going through trying to clear a little bit of rubble from a building that had been struck in the last couple of days. Not expecting to find anything. And unfortunately, unbeknownst to anybody else, 87 people were hiding in the basement of one of those buildings, and 87 people were killed when that building was struck just a couple of days ago. So you will even hear President Zelensky mention Desna, Ukraine. Folks, think about it for one moment. 87 people. 1 second. Gone. And this is just being discovered today. It is very, very, very sad. Gani King, my dear friend from Manila, God bless you. I saw your Facebook today about the 3 months since the fire with your daughter and mother-in-law. And we love you and send our care to Manila. So folks, that's Desna, Ukraine. So without any further ado, I want to jump over now to President Zelensky. I have so much tonight, and definitely the Treasure of Azov you do not want to miss, amongst other things. Let's go ahead. President Zelensky came out earlier in the day, and I dated this because everything is indexed. Everything is dated. Everything is stored. Every image, every video, every interview, every conversation, 89 days worth. We've got it all. It's backed up. It's secured. But today, 5/23/22, this morning, President Zelensky came out and says, we have a problem in the southeast of Ukraine, and we'll be looking at the map in just a moment. But this was from President Zelensky. Russia is outnumbering Ukraine in the south and the east 20-1. In fact, the mayor, just moments before I went online tonight, very, very early in the morning for him, of Lysychansk, thank you, Lena, came out and made a statement that it's no longer possible to try to escape. They are completely overwhelmed. Do you remember probably 6 weeks ago, I was telling you that the new general was getting in and he wanted a ratio of 5-1 before they continued to push. Well, President Zelensky came out today. It's a fact. He says that Ukraine is outnumbered 20-1. But with that, we don't give up. So let me tell you, let him tell you himself. Here is President Zelensky from just a little while ago.
Українці, українки, усі наші захисники і захисниці. Кожного дня, звертаючись до нашого народу, я підкреслюю, як тяжко і якою ціною дається оборона від російської агресії. Окупанти ведуть проти нас дуже жорстоку війну. Такої війни дійсно не було на європейському континенті вже 77 років. Тотальної війни, коли ворог намагається знищити якомога більше людей та інфраструктури. Завершився розбір завалів у Десні, на Чернігівщині. 87 загиблих. А це були тільки 4 ракети. Всього з 24 лютого російська армія нанесла по Україні 1474 ракетні удари, застосувавши 2275 різних ракет. Абсолютна більшість по цивільним об'єктам. За неповні 3 місяці було вже більше 3000 авіаударів російських літаків та гвинтокрилів. Яка ще країна витримувала такий масштаб ударів? Щоразу, коли ми говоримо нашим партнерам, що нам необхідна сучасна протиракетна зброя, сучасна бойова авіація, ми даємо не просто формальний запит. Ми говоримо про те, що цей наш запит – це реальне життя багатьох людей, які не загинули б, якби ми отримали усю ту зброю, за якою ми звертаємось. До речі, сьогодні, спілкуючись з учасниками Давоського форуму, який розпочав свою роботу, я говорив, зокрема, і про це. Про необхідність надати Україні усе те, що необхідно для порятунку життів наших людей. Всі наші партнери погоджуються з тим, що боротьба України у війні проти Росії – це захист спільних цінностей усіх країн вільного світу, нашої спільної свободи. А якщо так, то ми вправі розраховувати на повну і невідкладну допомогу передусім зброєю. Кожні мої міжнародні переговори, кожне звернення до парламентів чи інших закордонних аудиторій обов'язково стосується цієї тематики. Я вдячний усім тим нашим партнерам, які допомагають і надають нам необхідне озброєння і боєприпаси, щоб долати ту перевагу, передусім в кількості техніки і озброєнь, яку має російська армія. Найтяжча бойова ситуація нині на Донбасі. Бахмут, Попасна, Сєвєродонецьк. На цьому напрямку окупанти зосередили найбільшу активність на цей час. Вони влаштували там бійню і намагаються знищити усе живе. Буквально. Ніхто не руйнував Донбас так, як роблять це зараз російські військові. І я вдячний усім нашим воїнам, які тримають позиції і мають хоробрість контратакувати. Сьогодні у Києві, в Маріїнському палаці, в Білій залі Героїв України, я вручив ордени «Золота зірка» воїнам, а також рідним тих наших героїв, які відзначені цією нагородою посмертно. Зокрема, і сестрі матроса Віталія Скакуна. Він був сапером 137-го окремого батальйону морської піхоти 35-ї окремої бригади морської піхоти імені контрадмірала Михайла Остроградського. Він загинув, виконуючи бойове завдання на півдні України. Завдяки його мужності і героїзму вдалося суттєво затримати наступ переважаючих сил ворога і врятувати сотні життів наших військових. У цій війні із 24 лютого, із 2014 року морські піхотинці проявляли себе надзвичайно хоробро. Вони були серед тих підрозділів, які героїчно обороняли Маріуполь. Вони брали участь у багатьох важливих битвах. І сьогодні, у День морської піхоти, я висловлюю щиру вдячність всім, хто захищає державу у цих військах. Російські окупанти дуже стараються показати, що вони нібито не віддадуть захоплені райони Харківської області, не віддадуть Херсонщину, окуповану територію Запорізької області і Донбасу. Десь наступають, кудись підтягують резерви, десь намагаються укріпити позиції. Найближчі тижні війни будуть складними. І ми повинні це усвідомлювати. Але у нас немає жодної альтернативи, окрім як боротись. Боротись і перемогти. Звільнити нашу землю і наших людей. Бо окупанти хочуть забрати у нас не просто щось, а все, що у нас є. Включно із правом на життя для українців. Однак, щоб перемогти, ми маємо кожен і кожна працювати для цього. І в тому числі ті, хто в тилу. Допомагайте армії. Захищайте потреби нашої держави на усіх міжнародних майданчиках, до яких маєте доступ. У спілкуванні з іноземними журналістами, навіть просто з вашими друзями і знайомими за кордоном. Кожен голос має значення.
And there you have it. That's the update tonight from President Zelensky, of course, giving us the update on the 87 that lost their life in Desna, talking about the Day of Marines, as well as, they call it, if you want to know, they call it the horde of the Russian forces that are in the south and the east, and they are piling. Not only that, he continued to say, our guys are fighting on the front lines, but in the rear. And folks, I've got news for you. That includes us. Every day we are gathering resources and finances to help with Zhenya and the ministry there at the shelter. We're doing a phenomenal job, and you and I are a part of that. And that's why the consistency has been here, and it's not going to go away. I'm telling you, there will come a time when this may go a little bit more sideways, and people will be sharing like crazy. I guarantee you. I hope not, but I think it's very possible. So he was talking about these areas, and I want to share them with you, specifically Rubizhny, Severodonetsk, Lysychansk, Zolote, and Popasna. This little area has, and I'm going to show it to you on the map here and give you a little zoom in, but this area here with Kremina, let me make this a little bit smaller, Rubizhny, Severodonetsk, Lysychansk, Stakhanov, all this area right here. Folks, you may not know this, but there are 400,000 people that live in those small towns. And it's the city of Lysychansk where the mayor just came out a few minutes ago, which is right there, and said, there's nothing we can do. We're completely overwhelmed. Now, everybody, of course, is trying to get toward Kramatorsk and then, of course, toward Dnipro. President Zelensky, if you remember him, he was talking about, of course, Mariupol, the fighting in this side of Donetsk, the region of Zaporozhye. Folks, they are really trying to push. Now, you're talking a city of 1 million people here. Massive. Donetsk, 1 million. Lugansk, 800,000. So, Dnipro, 1.5 million. Kryvyi Rog, 750,000 to 1 million in the metro. Mykolaiv, 500,000. Kherson's already gone. In fact, let me show you what happened in Kherson today. Broke people's hearts. This video was shared with me today. This is Kherson. They are removing everything, every monument, every sign. They'll repaint over that. They'll put the Russian flags up, Putin's picture up. It's bad, folks. It's gone. And it's going to be quite an ordeal to push it back. But we're going to make it. This town right here, I'm going to go back to Lysychansk, right there. Today, people were trying to push out of Lysychansk via vehicle. And there was an access a few hours ago, which for us, maybe 12 hours ago, would have been in their daytime, when they were trying to get out from Kramatorsk to Kramatorsk area. And a guy recorded some video of just the shelling. They're driving, they're flying, they're trying to get out. Nothing bad you're going to see here. You're going to see a bus that was hit. No people or nothing. But then finally it gets so scary, they just pull over and hide in a ditch. This was today on the way trying to escape from Lysychansk. Now, I'll give you some good news on those guys. They made it out. But that is what they were dealing with. The last thing I want to show you is earlier, even President Zelensky himself said, and maybe we don't understand it because all we hear about, but not all we hear about, here you hear about everything. But you guys, one more time here at the map, you have seen what they've done in Mariupol. Okay, now, it makes no sense what they're firing at. They can't aim. This is scorched earth. Everything must be destroyed. It doesn't matter what they're firing at. And you'll sit there and we may sit here and think, oh, well, they're going to run out of munitions. No, they're not. No, they're not. They've been preparing for this for decades. They're not going to run out of shells. And by the way, there's so much business going on with Europe. The ruble's the ruble's still the strongest currency in the world right now. How's that working for you with the sanctions? Mariupol, we've seen it's gone. Now today, Kherson, right here, completely locked, completely blockaded. It is literally being destroyed. Some of the guys in the president's office came out today as well and said, I'm sorry to report, but when we think about the town that are so famous earlier in the war, I love my pen, Bucha, Irpin. He says, what we will discover and I'm going to color these in, and then I'm going to show you a video. He goes, what we will discover in Kremenna, Rubizhny, Severodonetsk, Lysychansk, Lugansk, all of this Donbass region, what we're going to discover will make Bucha nothing. And of course, it's not nothing. It's extremely significant, the thousands of people killed. But he said, and it was Arestovich, if you want to know who it was. Arestovich said, when we discover what has happened, and we will when we win the war, it's going to be indescribable. With that said, I have some video from Rubizhny. I've shown you so much out of Mariupol, but tonight I'm going to show you a clip from Rubizhny. There's G-rated, don't worry. But it's gone. You say, well, how big is Rubizhny? 70,000 people. Not 700, not 7,000. 70,000. Rubizhny, Ukraine, is no more. Folks, Rubizhny is no more. You know what? CZ, thank you very much. Hello, just discovered you over the weekend. I am also from Western PA, graduated from Pitt. Your coverage of the war is fantastic. Thank you for your incredible work to help Ukraine and inform the world. Man. That's exactly why we do what we do every day. Thank you very much for that. That is deeply appreciated. Continue to share and tell your friends as well. There's coming a day, I'm telling you, she's going to roll because people are going to be hungry for the truth. Now, today, we know this stuff, but I'm here to tell you that the Russian frigate, the Admiral Makarov, remember, I'm teaching you to speak Russian, Ukrainian, Slavic type languages. The accent goes on the second syllable most of the time. So this is not the Makarov, not the Macarena. This is the Makarov. This is a substantial, it is not the Moskva, but 7 new ships have been deployed, and 6 of those are amphibious landing vehicles. They are full, they are loaded, and they are on the way to Odessa. Does not mean that they are going to try to make a landing in Odessa yet. If the war continues, of course, that will happen. But right now, not saying that's what's going to happen, but these ships are continuing to roll into the Black Sea, pushing up into that Odessa region. So we'll keep our eye on that. Today, I shared, I think last night, over the last couple of days, President Putin and President Lukashenko, they've had their little meeting in, yeah, I had to go to that video. Yeah. Lukashenko, Belarus, and President Putin, of course, were meeting. I've got a little bit of their statements, and you're talking about madness. We were talking earlier about the ruble, and we were talking about it's powerful. And I saw some in here. JDO actually said ruble's doing great because Germany and Italy are paying for gas with rubles. Russia says thank you. Yeah, it's exactly what's happening. In fact, I'm going to share something a little bit deeper about that in a moment. Updated list as of a couple days ago of the companies that are still working in Ukraine. I can tell you today that the McDonald's in Moscow, all of their signs were taken down. They're gone finally. But here's a little summary of Mr. Lukashenko and Vladimir Putin. Got a little bit translated for you. Bonkers.
Несмотря на все сложности, хотел бы отметить, что российская экономика удар санкционный выдерживает весьма достойно. Об этом говорят все основные макроэкономические показатели. Я сейчас не буду перечислять, в ходе беседы покажу вам, что происходит. Да, конечно, все непросто. Все, что происходит, требует от экономического блока правительства особого внимания, особых усилий. И в целом, хочу это подчеркнуть, в целом эти усилия дают положительный эффект. Но это отражается и на уровне товарооборота между нашими странами.
И рубль укрепляется бешеными темпами, чтобы мы тут не переборщили бешеными темпами, чтобы мы тут не переборщили.
And the ruble is strengthening at a frantic pace. Well, they're laughing about it, but it's the truth. It really is. It's getting stronger. So here's the power of the media. Of course, that's blasted. Everybody has it. If you understand Russian, you can watch it. If not, we translate some for you, so you can read a little bit of it. But you can see, we've been saying it since the beginning. Sanctions are not the answer. They'll have their little pieces here and there, but it's no answer. Bob Petcarelli, thank you for being here since the start. Is the river way that is from the Black Sea and goes all the way to Kyiv navigable? No. It's navigable up to, I'll show you. Is it navigable? Yes. Sorry. Is it possible to go all the way backwards? No. And I'm going to tell you why. Let me go to the map. We'll just answer that question. So let me put that down. Let me go to a black or red color here so it's easier to see. So this horde of ships is right here. And then you have the Dnieper. That's what it's called there. I know if you read it, it looks like it's saying something else, but it's the Dnieper River. And it flows actually all the way down from Chernobyl all the way to Odessa. But change the color. Right there. That's where they would stop. The reason being, there is an incredibly large hydroelectric dam in Dnipro. And there's an elevation change in the river. So it's not possible to go beyond that kind of region right there in the green. So you've got deep water vehicles that run, of course, in this region, but they do not connect down here. So from here, you can get up to Dnipro. Old name is Dnipropetrovsk. So that's it on that. Now, hope that helps you there with that answer. I want to jump now to this. And this is what's very interesting. And actually, that question paves the way for where I want to go. I'm going to clear this up for you guys, and then I'm going to give you a little more clarity tonight into a misnomer. Here is the misnomer. The misnomer is, if we can unblock Odessa, if we could run, as Estonia says, up into the Black Sea and unblock Odessa and take back Kherson, we're good to go. We can free the grain. We can free the food that's feeding the world. We can supply Ukraine. No. So, Odessa, huge port. Kherson, huge port. Kherson, completely occupied. In fact, there is a horde of troops. In fact, right here, folks, in Valnyovka, they're preparing to push to Zaporozhye. Valnyovka has a population of about 14,000. The mayor reported to Kyiv that today there are more Russian soldiers in Valnyovka than there are citizens. They told the Ukrainian government in Kyiv that there's so many troops and so many arms because they want to finish off the Zaporozhye Oblast. And folks, if they try to take Zaporozhye, it's going to be ugly. That is a big city. Big. And if it gets closer, of course, we'll do some profiles and looking at Zaporozhye. Have I been to Zaporozhye? Many times. It's a huge city. Now, Odessa and Kherson. All looks great. Let's just go up in here and change my color here. Let's just go up here and wipe them out there. Great. Let's do it. But when it comes down to the economics, when it comes to the military, that side is the Black Sea. That's actually not as important as the other side. Now, what is the other side? The Sea of Azov. You see, when Mariupol fell, it was not just about Mariupol falling, and it's the largest city that has fallen to date, 500,000 people. It's not just about the genocide that's happening in Mariupol. It's not just about having nothing left there. Nothing. Destruction. People now living under the filtration rules. 95,000 citizens of Mariupol have been taken into Russia, into filtration camps stretching from west to east, all the way over to Vladivostok. That's not as vital or as important to Russia as having the Sea of Azov. Why? Well, tonight, I'm going to show you why. Let's go here first. Folks, this is a picture of Mariupol. We know Mariupol well. The port of Mariupol is ginormous. Not only that, you can look in the background there, and that is a picture that you know so well. That is the Azovstal steel plant. But in the foreground, this is just a part of the port of Mariupol. Huge, huge port. Next, this is very interesting. Berdyansk. Another, I will not call this one huge, but this is large. You can see it. This is a picture of the Berdyansk port. Vitally important. I'll give you the next one. Kerch. This is a smaller port, but it's in the most strategic location. I'll tell you about that in a moment. Rostov. Folks, Rostov is an incredibly beautiful and huge city. In fact, let me go here a second, and I'll show you on the map in a second where all these places are and tell you why. And then in the very end, I'm going to give you the numbers as to why the Sea of Azov is a treasure. First of all, take a look here. This is Rostov. You look and you go, oh my goodness, that's Russia? Oh yes, that's Rostov-on-Don, a beautiful city. How large? About 1.2 million people. On the northeast side of the Sea of Azov, has deep water ports, huge port system in Rostov, of course. Streets are clean, beautiful architecture. Russian Orthodox Church, from the outside, gorgeous. This would be their forum, their civic center. Modern, you're going, this is Russia? Yes, Rostov. Cultural center. You see any potholes? No. There's no potholes in Moscow. In fact, Moscow is so big that at any moment during the workday, over 2 million people are under the ground in Moscow riding on the subways. That's how big the system is and how big the city is. Beautiful city. But this is Rostov. Look at this. That's, of course, their coat of arms. So, Rostov, huge, huge, huge port. Now, to the next one. There's more. Yes, there's more. Taganrog. This is a smaller port, but this port is adjacent to Rostov and Mariupol. It's the little port in between Rostov and Mariupol. In fact, if you look very closely at the picture on the right, or on the right side of the picture, what do you see there piled up? Coal. I'm going to give you the numbers in just a second. Yes, I'm continuing to go. Yaisk. Well, yikes. Where is Yaisk? Russia. But it's on the Sea of Azov. Taman. What? There's more. Yes. These are just what we would call major and super major ports. Now, I'm going to go back to the map and I'm going to tell you where all these places are. I'll go with a different color. We'll go with the blue. Here's Rostov, right there on the corner. Mariupol, Berdyansk, Kerch. There was a reason I told you Kerch is so important. It's in the little strait that allows the Black Sea to flow into the Sea of Azov. Rostov, Taganrog, right here. Yersk is here. Taman is here. Folks, As of the time that Mariupol fell, Russia completely controls the Sea of Azov. Ukraine has no touch on the Sea of Azov. None. Every port is under the control of Russia. Now, why is that so important? Because there is a treasure there. 90%, let's start on the 50%. 50% of all the exports of wheat, of lumber, of salt, and fish that come out of Ukraine. Now, this has nothing to do with Russia. 50% of all wheat, lumber, salt, and fish that Ukraine exports comes through the Sea of Azov and those ports. That would be Mariupol, and that would be the ports that wrap around on the Ukrainian side. Now, you ready for the big boy? 90% of all Ukrainian exports of iron and coal go through the Sea of Azov. So when people talk about, well, let's liberate the Black Sea, that's great. I'm ready to do it. But I really wanted you guys to understand tonight, the treasure's not in the Black Sea. The treasure is in the Sea of Azov. And now Russia controls all of it. And it's not even close for Ukraine to get some touch on it. They control it all, every port. And I did see the comment, it will be interesting to see what they do with the ports, and we'll be watching. But they completely control the Sea of Azov. Now, take it one more step. Up at the top, Rostov-on-Don in the red circle. Below that, left middle, Kuban. That's the Kuban River. To the right is the Kuma River. If you look in the red circle, bottom middle, right now, Russia is trying to create, let's call it the Erie Canal, Panama Canal, whatever you want, an interland waterway to connect the Kuma River to the Kuban River, thereby connecting the Caspian Sea to the Sea of Azov. You say, well, that's interesting. Well, what makes that more interesting is look up on the top right. That's where the Volga comes out of. And the Volga empties into the Caspian Sea. The Volga, the most important river for transportation and products in all of Russia. And the Don River runs way up into Russia. Can't you see the bigger picture here? What's really happening is a complete control of this entire territory. This is very interesting. And the treasure of the Sea of Azov is controlling it. And Russia, unfortunately, controls all of it. The reason I told you that Kerch was so important, because that's where that bridge is that connects mainland Russia to Crimea. Right there, it is so fortified with troops and air defenses, that port and that bridge and that infrastructure. If we want to get the Sea of Azov, we're going to have to take out Kerch first. Not Mariupol, not any other town around the Sea of Azov. We're going to have to take the bridge, and we're going to have to take Kerch out. Now, Russia has fired hundreds of missiles. In fact, tonight, President Zelensky gave us the numbers. But just for your knowledge, these are the companies that, as of May 19th, have not left Russia. So a lot of those you may or may not know, but here's some names you will know. Of course, Airbus, the large air manufacturer. Where is Airbus from? Oh, I forgot. Oh, that's right. They're from France. You can look it up. It is. Airbus is a French company. I have flown on Airbus 330s for years and years. That's how I get to Europe. Airbus, French company. They haven't went anywhere. Cargill, you know it. How about Huawei? What's Huawei? You don't know Huawei? Just the largest electronic company in all of China. They're still there. Let's look some more here that we would know. Johnson & Johnson, Merck, Lenovo, Pfizer, Toyota, Alibaba, Nestle, Still there? Oh, yeah. How about some more? Who would we know here? Of course, everybody's heard of Nippon Steel, Procter and Gamble. They're still there. Coke Industries. Wait. The Coke Industries is still there. Yeah. I won't go into American politics. Look that one up. Bayer, HSBC, Power China, Indian Oil. These companies still there doing business with Russia. Today, folks, I got some video, got it translated, edited. I have been telling you for 4 or 5 days that the pioneer movement has been reinstituted in Russia. And, you know, I think the next time I have Zhenya on here, because he was a pioneer and he started moving toward cosmonaut. And if you remember, this is the process to becoming a full communist. It was the process under the Soviet Union before it fell. Well, we've been telling you that this has been reinstated. Folks, this is not an old picture. This is a picture from May the 22nd, 2022. I can 100% tell you that this is in the middle of Red Square. If you are looking straight at this picture and you look to the left, the big green steeple type building, that's part of the Kremlin. Directly ahead of you is the Historical Museum. Right, if you were standing there and to turn immediately to your left, you would be looking at Lenin's mausoleum and the huge wall of the Kremlin with all the beautiful trees planted. If you were to turn to the right, you can see a little bit of the gray building there. That is the GUM shopping mall, one of the most famous and expensive shopping malls in the world. And if you were to turn around, and this was a 360 picture, behind you, you would see St. Basil's Cathedral, the famous church there. On the left, on the roadway, you see the yellow lines and the white lines. I've walked on those lines many times. That 100% is Red Square. That is where the soldiers parade and the tanks go through on their different Victory Day parades and other parades they have. Look to the right, and you see small children dressed in the red hats with the red bandanas carrying the flag of Lenin. If you look at the word below Lenin there, it says Komsomol. I know you can't see the back part of it, but I know what it says. It says Komsomol. That's the second level of being a pioneer. Pioneer Komsomol on your way up to becoming a communist. This is happening. This is an event that happened a couple of days ago. Nope, sorry, yesterday. I'm already in the 24th. Yesterday. What were they doing? I'll show you. Translated and ready to go. Welcome to the indoctrination. And you wonder why people in Russia believe this stuff. Here's why.
Вступая в ряды пионерской организации. Перед лицом своих товарищей. Торжественно клянусь. Горячо любить свою родину. Жить, учиться и бороться. На благо родного Отечества. Всегда выполнять законы пионера. С сегодняшнего дня, ребята, начинается ваша пионерская жизнь.
Folks, if you think this is jokes, it's not. You know, here we have this guy right here, Don Gentilini, worked in Eastern Europe. He and his wife, during the time of the Soviet Union. He knows exactly what he's talking about. It's back in the USSR. And what's very interesting is that song that was playing there, you may not recognize it, but that is a Soviet childhood song. And when Zhenya and I was prepping some of this stuff today and making sure the translations, he goes, you do realize that's the exact song I was singing as a pioneer in the 70s. That's the same song. I've said, well, of course it is. That is what is happening. Do not listen to anybody else that will tell you, oh, this is just a joke. This is not happening. That's just Moscow, folks. This happened all throughout Russia. All throughout Russia. The initiation of the pioneer system. It looked like we were at an evangelistic meeting with the preacher saying, if you want to ask forgiveness of your sins, repeat this prayer. Dear Lord Jesus, forgive me of my sins. Forgive me of my sins. No, but they're giving the pioneer code. It's evil. And remember, even Zelensky has said many times, it's not a war between two nations. This is a war between darkness and light and good and evil. I remind you many times what Martin Luther King Jr. said. Hate cannot cast out hate, and darkness cannot cast out dark. Only light can cast out darkness, and only love can cast out hate. We just got to put some weapons with our love. Good ones. I can tell you today, the gentleman there in the picture circled, his name is Volva. He's Russian, 18 years old, murdered people in Bucha. He has been sentenced to a life sentence. It is done. He's already put away. So it is happening, but that was in Ukraine. Finally, folks, do not sleep on this one. Do not sleep on this one. Stephen Terry Olsgaard says, come boys and girls, join the Communist Club. It's exactly what it is. Now, folks, I'm going to share this with you, and this is where we're going to close out tonight. And then I'm going to tell you thank you and continue to share and all that. And we'll see you in 23 hours. But before I do, and we roll out in just 1 minute, do not let this slip through your fingers. This evening updates is about Ukraine, the war in Ukraine, Russia, getting the truth out, and working together, raising funds to supply our guys on the ground there, Zhenya, and our refugee center, and our ministry, humanitarian aid, our NGO, all of that. We've done an amazing job. We're over $107,000 raised. We've got a new van purchase. We got it rolling, and it's thanks to you. Thank you. Pastor Kent's done a phenomenal job administrating this. It's a big job. You're talking a lot of money, folks. And every penny plus has gotten there. And we thank you for that. Now, with all of that said, do not let this one slip past your radar. You probably saw it. I don't know if you did or not. But I'm not even concerned about what Mr. Biden said. I'm more concerned about the Ukrainian response. You see, I looked this up. The difference between the Pledge of Allegiance and the right here is the indoctrination. And secondly, our Pledge of Allegiance says we are one nation under God. The Pioneer Program gives all glory to the leader. You see, our pledge on this one, I'll go a different way. Our pledge, we're one nation under God, indivisible. But the Pioneer Program is under Putin, or it would have been under Stalin, or it would have been under whoever, Brezhnev, Khrushchev. It was for the glory of the fatherland and for the glory of the leader. You see, our pledge is to the United States, and we are under God, founded on those principles. So I don't, on that one, understand, but no, completely different. Do not let this one slip through your fingers. Today, President Biden made this statement, and I'll share it with you right there. Right there.
Very quickly, you didn't want to get involved in the Ukraine conflict militarily for obvious reasons. Are you willing to get involved militarily to defend Taiwan if it comes to that?
Yes,
You are.
that's the commitment we made. That's the commitment
So
we made.
unfortunately, and I'm not taking that out of context, that's what he said. Of course, Ukraine ran with it because if you actually look this up, and I did, the commitment the United States made to Taiwan was to make sure that it was supplied, but it was not a military defense to come to its aid. There is no contract and there's no commitment that we would intervene militarily. We will intervene with supplies and resources. But now our president is saying, oh yeah, we'll intervene militarily. Brother, you better be careful what you're saying because Mr. Xi is watching. And we're not afraid of Mr. Xi, but I'm afraid of you leading us into war. And I'm not getting on American politics, but Ukraine is blistering tonight because they're being leveled, genocide by Russia. And we've been friends with Ukraine for decades, just like Taiwan. And yes, we're sending weapons. Yes, we're sending aid. But the response should be, if you mess with Ukraine, we'll intervene militarily. Because we cannot let evil continue to roll through this world. But if it jumps over into Taiwan, we're coming. That's our commitment. You don't even know what agreements America is in. Good grief. Exactly, Ricochet. We have the same agreement with Ukraine, and that is to help. Nothing about the military. And that's the same with Taiwan. But our president standing there with the Emperor of Japan says, we'll intervene. Absolutely. We have an agreement. No, well, they're not really happy in Ukraine. Very appreciative for all that we're doing. But hey, we're being erased. How about us? Correct. Medic Trevor, you're spot on. China responded, don't oppose us. Folks, the pot is boiling. The pot is boiling. We'll see what happens. Every 23 hours it changes. As always, continue to pray for Ukraine. Thank you, everybody, for your support. Thank you for being a part. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for caring. Be blessed. Peace to Ukraine. We'll see you in 23 hours. Good night.